Hey, what's going on? I'm Sean Eng, president of the Rotary Club of Harrisburg. We're the number 23rd club in all of the world. We are part of a network of 1.2 million members dedicated to putting service above self. Our members are just like you, passionate about making a difference and beyond. Whether you want to join us for a Rotary luncheon, service on a Monday, or attend an upcoming membership drive, you'll find purpose, connection, and a chance to give back. If you've been working hard and wondering how you can live a more fulfilling life, join us at the Alexander campus for Jewish Life, Mondays at noon. Make an impact today. We'd love to have you. Find out more on our website at hbgrotary.org. See you there.
Thanks, Sean. Again, my name is Ryan Unger. Day job, work at the Harrisburg Regional Chamber in Cretic. Today, I bring greetings from our program committee, and we're really excited to do the following introduction to a full house here at Rotary. Eric Vanderwalk certainly is our featured speaker from Ollie's Bargain Outlet. He's the president and chief executive officer. He's held that role since February of 2025, served in a variety of C-level executive roles at Ollie since 2021, executive vice president, chief operating officer, and some others. Prior to that, worked as a chief executive officer at Christmas Tree Shops. I think many of us are familiar with that and know my mother was heavily responsible for some of your quarterly earnings during the time there. And in addition to that, prior to that, I was talking to Eric, served in executive roles at KB Toy Stores. If you're of my age, my cousin worked at KB Toy Stores, and I know she's a teacher now, but I still think of my cousin Cindy being the coolest person in the world because she had the best Christmas gifts. Worked at KB Toys. I could go in and try stuff out a little early. So it talks about the way, and it shows you the way that these retail interact with our family memories. And I think we've got a lot of great memories, certainly from Ollie's Bargain Outlet. And when we talk about our work at the Chamber in Cretic, we often talk about embracing who we are and the brands that we have. And a lot of people think of Hershey's certainly off the top. We got to embrace and appreciate all the work that Ollie's has done through the years here in our region. And we're excited for Eric's leadership and to hear from him today as well. Without further ado, Eric.
Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate the introduction. Unlike Leah, I have no personal information of kids or wife, so I'm like the cold-hearted corporate guy now. Let's just stick to business, guys. No, I have a wife, 2 kids in high school, so I do have a personal life. Let's move on to business, though. Yeah, thank you very much for having me, especially Sean for the invitation, M&T Bank. M&T Bank, along with many of you in the room, some surprised individuals I've met that handle our billboards, for example, locally, and people that work with us on talent acquisition over the years, Christian Churches United, the Big Brothers organization, the Central Food Bank. But starting with M&T, we are very committed to our businesses locally, even though, as you'll learn if you don't already know, how large this business has grown over the years and it needs support at scale. We have still been able to remain committed locally to like an M&T Bank or Citizens and some of the other organizations that I mentioned. We like to give back to the community, participate in various ways with our hands, our efforts, and our resources in any way we can. In fact, Tom, our head of marketing you met earlier, and I decided to focus our efforts in the coming years and select several organizations that we could support to make sure that when we do support organizations here locally, that it's meaningful support and that we can really make a difference. And our team really appreciates that. That being said, am I controlling it or you?
Is the remote up there? We can do it over here as well.
I have the control. I have the power.
Yeah, try it now. There we go.
Okay, so I was trying to think, what do you guys want to know about Ollie's, right? Like, we've been in the community for 43 years, and when I reflect on that in my time with the company, which is about 4.5 years now, I still find that I run into many, many people here locally that have no idea Ollie's is headquartered in this town in Harrisburg on Allentown Boulevard, at the back of the store on Allentown Boulevard, right? And then when you tell them that, they're like, yeah, big whoop. So what? You have that store. Oh, what? The one in Mechanicsburg. Oh, I've been to the one in York. So what do you have? 3 stores? 4 stores, right? This is a 600 plus store chain headquartered on Allentown Boulevard in the back of a store. Started in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, back in 1982. So I think many of you probably know some of the story. The Carlisle Pike store actually relocated. So the original store, I think, is now a car wash. Just Cabinets was Morty's business. He was one of the founding fathers of Ollie's, along with Ollie, Mark Butler, Harry Coverman. It was actually a copy of Building 19. Jerry Ellis, who was the founder of Building 19 in New England, and Mort were college buddies, I think at BU, and Jerry went and started this business in New England, and Mort said, I love your business, can I copy it and bring it to Harrisburg? So if you look back on the history of Building 19, which went bankrupt, I think 10 plus years ago, it's very similar. The creative similar, the business model similar, the category mix is similar. So, you know, and it affectionate, flattering copy that went on to become, you know, very large. We do recruit talent primarily from the local market. We have about 250 people that it takes to run this company out of Harrisburg, 14,000 people across the whole company. So it is a very, I call it human capital, but it's a very people intense business, whether you're in retail, hospitality, or food service, very, very people intense. And we steer all that here from Harrisburg. We went through 2 private equity turns, SKM and CCMP, and then became public about 10 years ago. We actually celebrated and rang the bell at NASDAQ in July, which was a ton of fun to celebrate being a public company for 10 years. We are the best performing retail IPO since NASDAQ started tracking these statistics back in 2014, which was pretty amazing. We didn't know this until we rang the bell and NASDAQ told us. We said, wow, that's impressive. I think our share price has increased around 700%, Tom, in 10 years, which is a pretty good return. I think. Our founder, Mark Butler, Mort Bernstein, and then John Swigert were the 3 CEOs prior to me. So I am the 4th in 43 years, which is really saying something nowadays because CEOs tend to turn pretty quickly. So I'll be here as long as possible, Tom, as long as you'll have me. I don't know. I actually guest lecture at a college, and they're always very curious about this. So I won't spend a lot of time on this, but we're a public company. There aren't many public companies in the retail business. And so there are pros and cons. You can read it if you like, but I usually say that being a public company is a huge pain in the ass. It really is. Trying to advise these kids, you know, whatever that means to them and their future careers. But it has its pros. In our business, we see so many companies have gone out of business over the last several years. Big companies like Big Lots, for example. Being a public company offers transparency. You can see our balance sheet, you can see our cash on hand, and you have the confidence doing business with us, especially trade vendors, the merchandise that we buy, that we're going to pay our bills. There are financials on the last 12 months, about $2.5 billion in sales. We made about $335 million in profit, market cap, $8.3 billion. I checked that this morning. It's still 8.3. What's the share price? $135. Okay. Store count, I think we're up to 620 something, so this is a little bit dated. We opened 50 stores last year. We'll open 85 this year. Probably open 75 next year, probably, but don't quote me on that. 4 distribution centers in 4 different parts of the country, in Illinois, Texas, in York, Pennsylvania, and in Commerce, Georgia, which is about 90 miles outside of Atlanta. And Ollie's Army Loyalty Program, any of you members? Thank you very much for your commitment and dedication to Ollie's. We have 16 million people, so it's very exclusive. Only 16 million. But it's growing and growing fast as we grow. And really the most, Tom knows how much passion I have for this. We talk quite a bit about it. The most unique element of our Ollie's Army program is how much pride people take in being members, which even after 4.5 years being part of this company, I still am amazed by and I do not take for granted. So people are proud to be members of the program, proud to be frugal, proud to be able to like beat the man, whatever you want to call it, right, at this game of saving money and using Ollie's to do that. We threw out the first pitch at a Senators game, and some of you may know we have a deep connection with the Senators organization. Mark Butler used to be an owner of the organization. And I gave a little speech at the beginning and asked about Ollie's Army membership. And I swear to God, all 60,000 people there like clapped their, it was only like 6,000 people, but huge round of applause and cheers. And I'm like, that's Ollie's Army. Like proud to be members, celebrating, you know, what we do and the fact that they're, you know, part of this loyalty program. So it is 80% of our business, these customers. That's a quick map. I think it's missing Maine and New Hampshire, which we opened recently, Nebraska, but that's covering 34 states now. Here's who we are. Good stuff cheap, not cheap stuff. We say that quite a bit. We have real brands at real bargain prices. So real brands is a very important part of our value proposition. They're brands that you're going to find anywhere else. And probably 99% plus of it is first quality goods. A lot of it excess inventory or discontinued product. So what if it's last year's vacuum, it's brand new and it works just fine and it's missing one little feature that you don't even know it's missing, and you'll get it for 20 to 70% off where the price you'll find anywhere else. We are passionate about serving our customers like we're passionate about serving our community. We actually, as an organization, take great pride in providing this value to customers and saving customers money. Video. We'll say it better than me, hopefully.
Keep talking. You gotta go back to your other.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Wow. Yeah.
During this break, can I ask a random question?
Yeah.
Who does the artwork? Who does the caricatures? I've always wondered.
Tom, you want to answer?
So originally there was an artist from Building 19 that we contracted with, but over the last probably 15 years, we've developed those internally. We also have an artist overseas that does some of the work.
All right. Here we go.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So it said better than me, I suppose. And my wife made an appearance. She was ringing the bell. She was right next to me. So I did. I do have a personal life. She actually said it that day. She's like, I've never done so much smiling before in a 27-minute period. She's like, my face hurts. Don't make me do that ever again. So here's what we do. Deliver the thrill of shopping for incredible bargains in a fun and quirky way. I think you probably all agree the brand is very quirky, fun, disarming. We have a sense of humor. It's self-deprecating. You see that in a lot of what we do, and we lean into it. And I think even as an organization, when you look at the way we behave, our core values, it's reflected in the external-facing brand as well. So this is work we did about 4 years ago when I came into the company to help define our culture, because we would say our culture is one of the strongest assets of our company, our people, and the culture that helps us understand how we should behave, interact with each other, and interact with our communities. And so we wrote it down, which, seems silly. Companies do this. For us, it was a really big deal because we'd already existed for 40 years and hadn't really wrote down what made us special, and how we behave and relate to each other. So that's what this is. And we celebrate it, we talk about it, and it helps even correct behaviors if we see something we don't like. Business highlights, I won't spend a lot of time on this, but we are about 2/3 of what we do is closeouts. You can see the category mix. I think many of you have been in our stores. That video was the Harrisburg store. Track record of growth. I don't know what happened in 2021. That's when I arrived, though. In 21, just for the record. You come to one of my guest lectures at the college, and I'll talk all about this. 2 hours of what happened during the pandemic. I won't spend any time here talking about it. But we've rebounded, and we're doing quite well. Actually, the pandemic informed us where it is we had weaknesses in terms of being able to execute foundation for future growth. And the pandemic ended up a blessing in disguise in that way, along with all the rest of the pandemic that maybe wasn't so great. It actually informed us on where we needed to invest, and we did. And it's been very good to us over the years. Stock price history. There I am again, coming in at 21. Maybe I wrote it down slightly. Clearly defined value proposition is our absolute most important operating principle for our model, and that's the theirs price comparison, making sure we have a valid comparison to market, and that our price gap or difference between our price and the price in the market is large enough depending on what the item is, typically between 20 and 70% off, depending on what it is. And we validate the price before we buy anything. Any individual item, we validate that we could be at the right price and it's the right level of profit for our company. And if we can't meet the economics, the customer's expectation, or our own gross margin expectation, we just don't buy it. It's simple as that. We move on to the next thing, which is why the assortment can be a little bit random and ever-changing, right? Which is part of the fun of the experience. The brand, Ollie, I heard some of you know Ollie Rosenberg. When I first came to Harrisburg, I was in a bar downtown and sitting next to somebody who knew Ollie, used to hang out, and I learned more about Ollie in that moment than I think I have in the entire 4.5 years I've been here. Very fun guy, from what I understand. So used to come in that bar with one of his girlfriends, but I think the serious girlfriend. So I'll stop there. Yeah. The business partner. Sorry. Like character described like your grandpa that has a business partner who's very special to him. So, here is some of our ads. We talked about hand-drawn images, quirky, fun, funny, the brand style, self-deprecating. We call our stores semi-lovely. There's a sign in Harrisburg. We actually just replaced it with something else that says wipe your feet on the way out. I didn't particularly like the connotation that the store is dirty, so we've changed it now. It says now exiting Ollie's, now entering the real world. So that also is, speaks to the brand, right? Not corporate stiff, except for me, but I'm trying. This is a commercial. Before we play, just to introduce it, Tom did not want me to play this commercial today, okay? Like almost banned me. He did give me a flat no, you're not getting this. So this commercial actually has not been viewed. Yes. Yes, Tom and I have that relationship, so he usually knows what he's gonna lose, so. But anyway, it hasn't been, it's not publicly facing yet, it will be in a few weeks. It's a rough cut, but I think it's pretty close to where we'll be in final form. So I'll give you just a quick intro, but the commercial does kind of speak to it, speaks to it. Our brands in our store, many of the vendors that we purchase these brands from do not want us to advertise. So a lot of what you'll see in ads is with express permission from our vendors that we can actually put that brand out there in the price. Many of the items are never advertised, so it's a discovery. So I'll give you an example. Tide laundry detergent's never advertised. You come into our stores, we always have some version of Tide in the store. It may not be the version you prefer, may not be the scent, or maybe you want liquid Tide, maybe you want pods. We have one or the other, so if you're flexible, you're gonna get a great deal on Tide. We can never advertise it, ever. So that's an example, that's the lead-in for this commercial. Tested well, Tom, tested well. I played it for my 14-year-old son, and he didn't fully get it, but I think he was only half paying attention, but he said, "What did the little girl say? Oh my God, Dad." She said Barbie. Oh, I thought she said something else. I'm like, okay, whatever. Some of the big, most frequent questions we get from investors, thought maybe you'd be curious. Availability closeouts is a question. There's over $100 billion worth of closeouts out in the marketplace, and we're buying, I don't know, $1.6, $1.7 billion of them. So there are plenty of closeouts available in the market. We do talk to us that we are an off-price retailer, not unlike a Marshalls or a Home Goods or even a Ross. So there's a combination of closeouts, excess inventory, engineered closeouts. We don't really care whether the product has been made for us, as long as the price makes sense to our customer and it makes the right economic sense for our P&L and our investors ultimately. So, but that being said, there are plenty of closeouts, growth obstacles and targets. Mostly this has been about investing in our supply chain, opening warehouses, expanding warehouses, which were any given year, we're heavily investing in our supply chain, opened our 4th distribution center in Illinois last year. We're gonna be expanding 2 of our 4 buildings in the next 18 months to make sure we can support the pace of growth. Financial targets and goals, investors usually start with this. All they care about is the bottom line. They don't care about how much I care about customers. But, you know, that's okay, I understand. I'll forgive them. Long-term growth algorithm, how fast are we gonna grow? That's a big question, and in which ways are we gonna grow? E-commerce, maybe you all have that question too. Are we gonna get in the e-commerce business? The answer is no, we're not. So that's not a flat out no, not ever, but today it's a no. Back to the brand conversation, many of our brands do not want us in the e-commerce business because they don't want their brands out there in front of the public at the prices that we're offering, could embarrass other customers they do business with and other channels of business. So we stay away from e-commerce. Doesn't mean there isn't any role for it or version of it that we could do, but it's not on the radar, at least for the next couple of years. And then risk to execution truly speaks to, when you looked at that graph, what happened in 21 following the pandemic and kind of climbing out of the pandemic. Our investors have some memory of that situation, want to make sure it'll never happen again. So we have to have intelligent answers as to why it won't happen. They rarely even ask because now we've had consistency over several years. So there's confidence in our business. This is for you. So any questions?